What's up, everybody? It's Dr. Weber. We are going to go over some mobility exercises before we get into our full body strength. First, we start with some foam rolling. Then we'll go through some stretching and then some dynamic stretching and warm ups before we get into some power and strength. So I'm going to start with my shoulders. I'm using a lacrosse ball. You can also use what is called an orb ball, but a sticky or a grippy lacrosse ball will be best if you're using your upper back. We're going to go right in between the shoulder blades, okay, with the ball. So right next to the spine, but right right into the scapula, the upper side. And then we can go up and around into the neck area. As you see, it's right here. And then I'm going to go back and slide it down to my scapula. So I'll show you what that looks like with the orb ball. So kind of pushing into the scap, in and around it, and then up and down. And you're basically just looking for areas of tension. Just focus on your breathing. You can inhale and exhale normally to different areas of the scapula, the trap, the rhomboids. So the area between the spine and your scap is your rhomboids. So you're pushing into that area. You're going up into the traps. The traps lay over the rhomboids, so you're getting traps all the time, but you're also getting the deeper muscles like your rhomboids. And then when you push in and around the scap, you can get the posterior deltoid. Okay, you can also get the supraspinatus, which is on the higher level of that scapula. And then you can get the infraspinatus, which is right in the outside shell of the scapula. I don't think you'll be able to get deep into the subscap, but you can definitely get your teres minor, which is on the outside of the scapula, and then outside to that even more is your teres major. So you have your teres minor, teres major. In these areas I'm working right, I'll show you right here is more teres minor and teres major. Then you can get your lat. So I'm going to just kind of press into kind of the armpit area, side to side, and you can also go up and down. And then I can push that right into the posterior deltoid, just like that, in toward my end or distal end of the triceps or humerus. Okay, I can supinate and pronate the wrist and externally and internally rotate at the shoulder to get different muscles while I do this. So this would be more of an upper body foam rolling, self-myofascial release. So doing this consistently before your workout is going to lead to the most changes. Sometimes just even once a week adding this upper body routine may be beneficial. So I'll get the other side. So I like bring my hands together, side to side. Definitely, if you have an issue with a shoulder, you might feel it more on one side than the other. Okay. Just kind of reach forward. It's a great tool to just learn about the different muscles in your body as well, and just see, check in with each muscle before you start. Because you'll notice, like, oh, it feels soft and squishy, and maybe feels like it needs to be worked a little bit, or it feels super tight. Okay, and maybe it needs to be a little bit relaxed. So there's only one way to really tell, and that's to apply some good pressure into those areas. Okay, here's my upper body. Let's go ahead. Oh, you can also get the hips here. So I can get the glute medius here on the outside, in and around to my glute max, the high end of my glute max, into the glute med. So I can just kind of push into the wall here as well. I could also get the lower back if I don't want to lay on the ground and do that. but just giving you some different options. So let's go ahead and work our way to the ground. So let's go ahead and work on the ankle. Move our way up the posterior chain or the back. All right. So going with the ankle next. And Achilles, I like to start really low. I go on the outside and the inside edges of that tib fib, or that lower bones where they meet there on the outside and inside portions of the calf and Achilles. And you're getting your deeper muscles like your soleus as well. But mainly that gastroc, you're going to feel it, or your calf muscle, your big calf horseshoe muscle there that I'm pushing into right now. We're going for about, 5 to 10 rolls, per leg. You don't want to spend too much time doing these things, or your whole workout will be consumed with your mobility. So you kind of have to keep the pace, even though you might feel some areas of, specific tension, which is, a good time to just kind of relax into that area. If it's like super tight, just try to relax. If it's not too tight, we're just really just scanning. So only pay attention to the problem areas and scan the rest. But it should look different each time. You shouldn't just look like this every time, okay? So the hamstrings, you specifically can do the hamstrings with the OR ball seated, which can be hard for people. So that's why I think if you're gonna get the hamstrings, you wanna do it on a bench, okay? So you wanna sit on a bench. What you're gonna do is you're gonna just kind of sit on top of it with the hamstring. The foot will be off the ground. You can internally and externally rotate here at the hip. So this is my internal rotation, knees going in, hips going in, foot goes out. External rotation, the hip and knee go out, foot goes in. And as I do that, I kind of rock on that OR ball, or you can use a lacrosse ball, a softball. Will be just fine. A tennis ball might be too small. I'm gonna switch side. You can go at the high end of the femur of the hamstring, right where the pubis bone is there. Ischial tuberosity may be there, I'm not sure. The belly of the hamstring, you have your semimembranosus tendinosus, biceps femoris, in the backside here. Okay, so there's your hamstrings. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely tension spots. I kind of want to stay there longer, but you don't have that much time when you're working out. So, if you need to address those things during a warm up or in between sets, you can do that. Lower back, then relax. Oof. On the roller, my knees are bent. Okay, it's about a 90-degree angle of my knees. I'm just gonna relax my arms down. Just take 3 long inhales and exhales. Inhale through my nose, and then long exhale out. And I just want to feel the muscles in my lower back. I don't want to be pushing in my spine here. So I can tilt to one side if I want to feel the pressure on one side or the other. But I don't want to be pressing into the bones if it hurts or anything like that. So from here, if it hurts, get off. But if you can, bring one foot underneath the knee. You'll open up a hip and you'll get those deep lumbar muscles on each side. If there's any pain here, don't do this one. If you feel like there is tightness and it feels good, you're probably hitting the right area. From here, we're going to sit up and we're going to pivot the roller in the mid back. Okay, right where my chest line is. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to cross my arms I'm going to just extend over the roller and then flex. Try not to extend at the back, lower back, try to extend at the upper back. Just about 3 reps. And then we're going to move up. And then maybe down. Elbows together here, hips off the ground, roll up the spine and down to the mid spine. And this, we're going to target the traps and rhomboids, just like we were doing on the wall. Okay. Yeah, and since we already got the lats in the back, we're not going to spend much time here, but I am going to show you how I would press into the chest and rib cage. And then I like to roll side to side as well here. This is also great pressure for the side ribs, which helps us expand in different areas of our rib cage, which is great for breathing and posture and stability and mobility and strength. Just focusing on your breathing. Here I'm getting the chest, getting the side rib cage wall and the lats. I can work low rib cage as well, up into the armpit and back behind post delt, but we already did a lot of this with the roller on the wall, so we're not going to go too much further. Next, the adductors. Adductor longus, magnus, brevis. Okay, starting though at the VMO, vastus medius. Okay, oblique there, that teardrop muscle next to the knee. I like to point that toe down as I roll in and out of that area about 5 times and work halfway up. And then all the way up to the inside of the thigh toward the knee, working the whole area. I can see how I'm kind of pointing the toe down here as I'm high, and as I go low, toe goes up, down, and up. Same on the other side. Starting with the inside thigh, but getting the vastus medius first, right there, toe down, or whatever, it doesn't matter that much, but we go mid thigh, and then close to the hip bone and toward the knee. Toe goes down and up. Again, just focusing on breathing. Now we're getting into the quads. So I'm going to go just on one side. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to go right above the knee in a plank position, trying to extend the back like this. Just like you're doing a plank. We're going to go right above the knee and hold. Breathe. A little higher, hold. Breathe. A little higher, hold. Breathe, toe down. And then hip to knee. You can allow for a little extension of the spine, but not too much. Then switch side. So go from knee to hip, toe down. Just focusing on your breathing. Sometimes I'll roll first and then hold. Sometimes I'll hold first and then roll. Now we can get the outside of the thigh. All the way up to the TFL, which is that muscle on the right side or left side of your pocket where you put your hand in your pocket, size of a piece of soap. And then that huge vastus lateralis. Get your side hamstrings as well. And people like to say your IT band as well here. Pocket muscle, TFL. You may or may not find this. This may take you a while to find. And then outside lateral quad. All right. So let's see where we're at. We're at 16 minutes, which is probably too long, but since this is for education purposes as well, it's fine. We're going to start moving into our stretching portion. So I'm going to just grab a mat here. If you have any type of thick mat for your knees, should be good for some of the positions like half kneeling. You don't need one. From here, let's go ahead and get started. All right. So now we've, manipulated the tissue. Now we need to stretch the tissue. So we're going to start with our hips, move our way up. So we're going to start 90-90 here. We're going to look forward. We're going to start in a cross-leg position and then open up the legs and then rotate to one side. From here, you're going to look in that same direction. Keep the chest high as you bring the head forward and then hold until you feel a stretch in that front hip. Focus on your breathing. Inhale through the nose and exhale slow. You're trying to double the exhale. From here, I'm going to bring both my hands behind me, rotate toward that back hip. Should feel it more here in my hip internal rotation setup. And if I try to get my hands toward that foot and knee, you might even feel a little bit more. Or it might begin to knot up. So then you might want to get out of the position. We're going to go ahead and move to the other side. Look straight ahead, hinge forward, breathe. Just focus on your breathing as you hold this position. So we're going toward the back hip now. Keep the knees and feet down and toes up. Here, just rotate. You can reach for the back hip and foot, or keep your hands behind you and just you can rock in and out of this position too. From here, we're going to go ahead and move to the hands and knees. Okay. We're going to widen the knees as far as possible and point the toes so the toes touch. If you need one knee, you can put it on a pad because we're going to lengthen the other leg. From here, we're going to step that leg out and we're going to rock back. We're going to look forward here and just exhale as we rock back, and then we'll switch side. You don't need a mat or pad here. Point the toes, toes touch. Sometimes I like to rock just in this position before extending the knee. Try to get the outside edge of that foot down as well as you rock forward and back. And then from here, We'll go to our hands and knees, and we'll just do some cat cows. So we'll round the back, tuck the chin. Then we'll extend the back, look up, round the back, look down, arch the back, look up. You can do this segmentally, one vertebrae at a time. From here, we'll go half kneeling. So if you do have a pad, just step 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The hip is over top of the knee. And we're making a 90-degree here with both knees. Look straight ahead, hands at the pelvis. We're gonna drop our hip down and then squeeze the glute into our position we wanna be in. Squeeze that back glute and you'll feel a stretch in that back hip flexor or running down the front of that leg and the higher portion of the leg toward the midline. Then from here, we can widen our stance and just kind of rock forward and rock back. Exhaling as we rock forward. Okay. From here, both hands will go down on the inside. We're going to rock out, but try to keep your front foot peeled or touching the ground. Then we're going to tuck the toe, straighten the back knee, hold here. Breathe. And then we're going to open up, reach up, hold, breathe. And then we'll switch side. Starting half kneeling, hands at hips, squeeze that back glute, feel that stretch running down. And then I'm going to just open up the hip and rock forward and back. And then I'm going to bring both hands down on the inside, rock toward the outside, keep that foot down. So we don't want to open up and see the bottom edge of the foot here. All right, then from here, back leg off the ground, back knee, and then extend one arm up toward the sky. Breathe. Both hands down, hands and knees. And then from here, we're just going to sit down on the ankles and plantar flexion or with our toes pointed. And then we're going to open up the heels and just kind of sit in between and just kind of rock side to side. Should feel a front strain or stretch there. If it's too much, get out of this position. From here, we're going to go ahead, tuck the toes and let the glutes drop down to the heels. You should feel that in those toes and knees here. We're going to widen the knees a little, point the toes now, forehead down. Thumbs are up here, elbows are straight. I'm going to press those arms and shoulders into the ground and then relax. Shrug up and then shrug down. Shrug up and shrug down. Shrug up and down. And then from here, lift one arm up and push the opposite arm down as you do that. Like the exhale as I do that. And now I'm going to make a field goal post and bring my thumb up in the air and then rotate out. So lift my fists off the ground and hold. Good. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and get my quad back in that half kneeling position. Okay, I did a lot of quad already, so I don't really feel like I need to do this that much. We just did a lot of it, so I'm just gonna do it lightly. Okay, you don't need to do that if you don't want to. And then from here, go to downward dog, head through the shoulders, getting calves and ankles. Trying to get one heel down at a time. Big exhales and inhales. Then from here, you can go to a push-up position. Breathe, nice straight body here from head to heel. Couple inhales and exhales. And then we're going to bend the knees, hands under the shoulders, and then lift the knees off the ground an inch and hold. Good. Now let's go ahead and bring those feet forward. Lay on the back. We're going to go into the hamstring here. Tuck that toe. Both toes pointing up. One toe pointing back. Breathe here. And then you can circle the ankle. And then you can also bend and extend. And then switch. Breathe here. And you can rotate at the ankle. And then bend and extend. From here, I'm just going to bring the bottoms of my feet together. Open up the hips. Breathe. And then from here, I'm going to lift the hips and hold, squeeze the glutes, breathe. Then I'm going to come down on my back here, lay down on your back. I'm going to go ahead and point those toes toward the sky. So just dig the heels into the ground. Then we're going to squeeze the glutes. Keep those knees in line with the shoulders. Don't let them go out or in. Breathe and hold. And come down. Okay. You can bring those heels toward your glutes or away from your glutes, depending on how that feels. So I like to have more of a 90-degree angle. Maybe a little bit more, 100 or 110. And then come down. One more, up. And down. Now we're going to do a one-leg hip lift. So I'm going to pull one knee to chest, tuck those toes, both toes. I'm going to dig that bottom heel into the ground, tee out the arms, squeeze the glute, hip raise, hold. And then come down and up, hold. And down and switch. And down and up, hold. And down. Now from here, I'm going to make a dead bug here. Arms over the shoulders or hands in front of the shoulders like you're pushing into the ceiling. Then from here, I want my knees in line with my hips, not close together. And I'm going to lower one leg to the ground on an exhale. And then exhale the opposite. I'm going to go contralateral reach or opposite arm, opposite leg will reach toward the ground on your exhale. And then we're just going to relax. Then we're going to roll up, move to hands and knees, and we're going to try that same thing in our hands, on our hands and knees. Opposite arm, opposite leg reach. Hold and breathe. And then switch. And then you can just relax, grab some water. We're going to start moving into some shoulder slides on our back. We probably should have just stayed there. My mistake. We're going to make a W or field goal post again with knees bent. Tuck the hips, so squeeze the glutes. Exhale overhead. Inhale, pull down. Keep the hands, wrists, elbows, and shoulders connected to the ground as you reach overhead. Inhale down and exhale overhead. From here, now we can roll forward and back like an egg. If that hurts, don't do it. All right, now let's go ahead and start some of our dynamic warm-up. So grab some water if you need it. Now we're getting more into the dynamic strength, things like squats and hinging and pushing and pulling. All right. So let's start with our squat pattern. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Toes slightly pointed out. I can reach to get more ability to lower. And then I'm going to exhale on the way up. So I'll focus on an inhale at the top or an inhale on the way down, and then an exhale on the way up. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is get in that squat pattern, but first start in the standing position. I'm going to reach for my toes with my knees straight. And then I'm going to bend at the knees, look straight ahead, extend the knees, and then stand up. Okay. Try that again. Touch the toes, bend down, look forward, extend the knees, stand up. Now I'm going to try the same thing. In my squat position, I'm going to reach overhead to make this more advanced. Okay, that might not be suitable for you, so you don't have to do that one. All right. Now our push pattern, we're going to bring our feet together, touch our toes, walk our hands out to a push-up position, and walk our hands in front of our head, and then walk forward on our tippy toes, and then stand up. Okay, trying that same thing. And you can progress this by reaching those arms out all the way overhead. Okay. Next pattern will be our single leg reach. So feet are under the hips. We're going to reach forward and hinge the body. So first practicing the hinge. I get a straight back and then stand up. We're going to try to do that on one leg. You're going to reach forward and reach out. So if I'm on my left leg, I'm reaching forward with my right arm. I'm going for about 5 reps. I try to keep my bottom toe facing down as I hinge. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and start my dynamic, a little bit more movement portion of my warm-up. That was more dynamic. That was more mobility strength. Now we're going to work on some agility and some speed. All right. You can measure that lots of ways. You can see how many times you can perform a certain movement in 5 seconds or under. That's going to be more a measure of a speed. So something like 10-yard fly or a 40-yard dash would be an example of testing speed. But if you don't have that available, you can measure how fast or how many times you can do something in less than 5 seconds. For example, moving like that as fast as you can in 5 seconds is going to train for speed and power, which is a high energy output phosphagen system that only lasts 5 to 10 seconds. So you can only train it that way, and it has to be as high as intensity as possible. And you need at least 55 seconds of rest in between the next set. Sometimes for training purposes, you do 30-second between rests, set intervals, but you're not going to get as high quality outputs. So just take that into effect. Okay. I'm going to first start with some dynamic stretches. So I'm going to step and pull one knee toward the chest. As I do that, my bottom foot is going to point into the ground. That's going to increase the amount of extension at that same hip. And it's also going to create that separation or scissors, which is what we want for our running. Then we're going to step and fold the leg into the chest, pulling at the outside front of the shin. Okay. Now we're going to go quad pull, reach for the back foot, heel touches glute, and then hinge forward. And so since we've worked on that hinge, now we're working on it with a little bit more complex movement pattern. So everything should get more complex as we continue. All right. Marching. We're going to march side to side. So I'm going to march toward my right. And then I'm going to march toward my left. The knees don't go as high as the hips. It's not a march. Okay. It's not. We don't want the knees traveling under the hips. Then we're going to move on to high knees. We'll do a linear high knee. So I'm going to run and try to get those knees as high as possible. So it is a running high knees. You definitely need a little bit more air and rest in between sets of these next couple. And that's why it's important to either focus on corrective exercises or stretches that you can do in between sets. High knee run. Okay. Now we're going to work into the skip. So it's going to be a march. Then the march is going to turn into a skip. We're going to do lateral skips here. Okay. Or you can do linear or forward skips. So I'm going to start with a march. Then push off this outside leg toward the inside. And then same thing the other way. All right. Now we're going to move into some scissors. So find a line, put one foot over the line, one foot behind the line. Same foot that's forward, opposite arm forward. Hand to chin, opposite arm back, same as the leg. And then switch. So that's your scissors pattern. Okay, we're going to scissor to the right and then scissor to the left. 2.5 seconds to the right, 2.5 seconds to the left. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's your phosphagen system if you get enough rest. Okay, 5 seconds, as high intensity as possible. Now we're going to work lateral bound, but first let's do a little bit of pogo. So pogo meaning knees are straight when landing with a stiff ankle. Okay, just like you're jumping rope, but then you can move forward. Okay, pogos left and right over a line. And then one leg pogo. Aiming for about 30 total jumps, 30 to 50. Okay. Now we're gonna go with a lateral bound. From here, starting my feet under my hips or shoulders, and take this inside leg, bring behind my body, push it forward, step across. And then as I do that, try to make an arc, land with the whole foot, try to stick the landing. Okay, and take a break. So we've completed our dynamic warm-up. Now we're going to focus on some power exercises. So we're going to do some med ball throws. We're going to perform some box jumps and a core exercise. So let me get all that stuff out. And grab some water. All right, so I have a 6-pound med ball, oversized, that can bounce, but not too bouncy, so it hits you in the face. I'm gonna do an overhead slam for 8 reps, as high as intensity as possible. If you have a very loud or annoying gym, just use a piece of carpet, and slam the ball on there. Okay. Big exhale, like a karate chop on the way down. Then I'm gonna go for 5 box jumps. I could also do my box jumps first, maybe smarter because it involves more intensity and coordination. So let's do that. So we'll start with the box jumps, move to the med ball slam. Then we're gonna do a bear plank reach, okay? So I'm going for, when you're jumping, anywhere from 3 to 5 jumps is all that's needed, okay? And you don't need to go more than 26, 24. Highest maybe is 32. Here we go. 5 box jumps. I'm going to extend at the hips or stand up nice and tall. I'm going to swing my arms down and then jump up onto the box and land soft. Okay. Move into my med ball slam. To my bear plank reach. Get in the hands and knees position. Then bring the knees off the ground an inch. reach toward 12-inch box right in front of you. 5 on each side without rotating the spine or moving the hips side to side. You challenge yourself by putting a cone on your back. Here we go. And that is your power set. Power pod. Pod meaning 3. But we do have a core exercise in there. So then we'll just repeat. Jump, throw, core. If you don't have the box, you can just do a squat jump, just like that, or a kettlebell swing, or any type of fast chop, or explosive jab, kick, or punch. And your body will know when it's ready, or someone will have to tell you. You may want to just try to land in the same position that you started in. So you can start in this position, or you can swing down and up. I like to swing down and up because that creates a little momentum as opposed to just going straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Burpee. We got one more set. Now, if you're a beginner, you only need 1 or 2 sets. Okay. All right, last set. Last set's the best set. Remember, step off the box. Don't jump off the box. That was brutal. Without that. Now you can rest at least a minute, because now we're going into strength set A. Whew. So today will be for lower body and upper body and core. We're going to do all three: lower body, upper body, core. Okay. Then we will get our conditioning in. Okay. So lower body, today's dominant side we'll do hip, and we'll also hit knee, but more of a hip dominant day, because we'll have 3 pods. And since there's 3 pods, that means that you can only fit 3 rounds in there. So I'll explain how that goes. So basically, each pod is upper body, lower body, core. So you got to pick push or pull for upper body. You got to think hip or knee dominant for lower body, and you can choose from a ton of different core exercises. So for lower body, since we're doing hip dominant, we start with hip dominant exercise for our first pod, because our second pod will be knee dominant, and then our third pod will be back to hip dominant, since we only have 3 pods. We want to even it out. We have 4 pods. Okay. So if you do want to even things out, you can always just even it out. Otherwise, this keeps the workouts a little bit shorter and compact, and it allows you to focus on different body parts as well as the full body. So more knee dominant or hip dominant today. The next time I work out will be more knee dominant, and then I can go maybe back to hip dominant on Friday. And so I'll do that for 3 to 6 weeks, and then I'll change it up the next 3 to 6 weeks. And then for upper body, I'm going to think upper push or upper pull. So today will be more of an upper pull day. So hip dominant and upper pull day. So anything rowing or pulling for my first pod and my third pod. My second pod will obviously be something pushing to even it out. Okay. So you're always evening your workout out with your second pod. If you want to even the whole workout out, you add 4 total pods, or you just do 2 pods. So if you have a short day, just do 2 pods. Long day, 4 pods. But most days, 3 pods, because then you have your 3 power exercises, then you have your 9 strength exercises. So that's 12 total exercises or sets of exercise that you're going to be doing. So that's going to be plenty of exercising for the day. You don't need to overdo it. Remember, minimal effective dose is key when strength training and power training, because if you overdo it, you'll get over tear, over fatigued, and break down the muscle tissue. So, which is what we want to do for hypertrophy, but for muscular strength and power, we need to think energy system. So for our hip dominant exercise, we're going to do a shoulder elevated hip lift using a box or a bench. Okay. Touch the ground. You could use a pad if you need to, if shoulders are too high, or if you want to make it easier. And you can also add weight on top. Okay, so we're going to add a sandbag. If you don't have a sandbag, you can use a barbell with some pads. I think this just feels a little bit more comfortable. Okay, and you can progress it by going on one leg. I'm going to start with 2 legs. Feet are about shoulder width distance. I'm going to squeeze the hips, or squeeze the glutes, so that I make a straight line from my shoulders to my knees, and then sit back down. Slow down on the way down, and then drive right up. I'm going for 5 to 8 reps here. Okay, sometimes I might just do a couple more in my first round. Now I'm doing a pull, so I'm going to think my pull down or row. For today, I'm going to choose the pull-up. So since I just did a hip down exercise, little gas, so I'm only gonna be able to get 5 to 8 pull-ups. I could have started with my pull, but I didn't. So you can always start with upper and then go lower if you want, then core. So my upper body exercise is gonna be my pull-up. I'm gonna go for 5 reps. Okay, I don't want to drag it out and fatigue myself by hanging there. So if I can't get 5 in a row, I won't do them. Otherwise, you're going to do a lot of swinging and maybe tearing of the tendons. We don't want that. Now we have our core exercise. Okay, we're going to do a Turkish get up or a fourth get up. I like to call it just a get up. Most people have heard of the name Turkish get up. So you lay on the ground, feet shoulder width apart, tee out one arm, reach the kettlebell toward the sky, head down, bend that same side of the knee, sit up to the elbow, then the hand, step back and through, hand off the ground, stabilize to half kneeling, stand all the way up, stand back, hand down, kick through, slowly come down. And we're just going to go for 2 on each side. So that's a great exercise that you could just do reps of 5. That could be a full body workout because you have upper body, overhead push, you have stability, and then you also have the reverse lunges and forward lunges. So total body. Just gonna get my breathing back and we'll start pod number 2, pod B or pod A. Pod A, set 2. There we go. Probably going to use a bench. It's going to be a little bit better stability. Not meaning I'm going to use more stability, meaning I'm going to have more stability to portray strength. Because if you don't have a lot of stability, you won't have a lot of strength. We're going to go for 5, and then we're going to go 1 rep each of one leg. So that's our lower body, upper body is going to be our 5 pull-ups. Yikes. That's a brutal. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. If you're mouth breathing, that's probably a good thing. Not a bad thing. It means you're working hard. Obviously, you want to nose breathe, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. All right. So we'll hit 2 sets because we're starting to run out of time. So now let's do our knee dominant and our push dominant. So I'm actually going to use a sandbag in this right here for a 1 leg squat. And then we're going to go with a 1 arm press, followed by a plank row, all right? Or a side planker row. I'm going to go for 3, 5 reps, probably 3 reps. I'm holding weight. Usually I don't use weight. I'm going to tap and go. I'm going to start with my feet like this. And I'm going to go like that. Ooh. Man, that burns. One arm press. Make sure your head's touching the mat. I'm doing 5 on each side. All right. Core exercise. It's going to be an overhead reaching forearm plank. 5 reaches. 5 pulls. These are bad. Bad idea. Yikes. It's a brutal set. Upper, lower core, lower, upper core. That's how you do it. Give me a thumbs up if you're out there and you're enjoying this. All right. Or comment and let me know what you really want. Going back to my squat. Yikes. High heart rate. These are going to be bad. Bad. That's really bad. Whew. Whew. So now we're going hip dominant, pull back the core. So we'll do side core. So we're gonna do one leg deadlift with sandbag. Be a nice wind down. Might have to get on a box. Wow. A little ridiculous. Especially with a sandbag. Yikes. Whew. Now we're going one arm row. Wide feet. Bench height. Both knees straight. Arm reaches for the ground. One arm straight toward the bench. Lift, hold, control, pull. Lower, down slowly. So slow down that lower, 5 on each side, eccentric dumbbell. Now, one arm carry or march. So I can go on a line, heel in front of toes, like you're walking on a straight rope. All right, take a little less weight, maybe a kettle, and then just standing marches. Four total, 2 on each side, and switch arm. Good. Yikes, that's bad too. So I'm just gonna do one set there and head out because we're at 100 or a minute or an hour and 14. So either complete that next set, then what you're gonna do is your conditioning. So either 10 seconds on sprint, 80% on a bike, and then rest or pedal slow for 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Repeat that 4 times if you're a beginner or 8 times for advanced. Or 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a bike or walk. So long, slow duration training for 20 to 30 or high intensity interval training for 5 to 10. All right, let me know if you like that. Comment. What do you think? And I'll show you what it looks like on the board. Yeah, it's probably opposite. All right, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. Upper back, behind my right shoulder. Yeah, you need to foam roll, stretch, activate, strengthen, increase power in that position to get your posture back. All right, everybody, take it easy.